Machamp! Steaming Mad. 20 times the amount of, 20 damage times, uh, damage times the number of damage counters onto this Pokemon. And this Pokemon is now confused. So, this is a pretty cool trade-off, I guess. If you have a lot of damage counters onto you, that is a lot of damage, honestly. Of course, you are confusing yourself, but if you really want to risk it and attack again, you'll be doing more damage with a Crazy Hammer, because this attack, basically what it does is, you do 80 damage, and if this Pokemon is affected by any special condition, this attack does 80 more damage. So that's 160 damage you're easily looking at. So that's pretty crazy. Also a fighting type too, so you can attach strong energies and stuff, so that's easily 180 damage. Just with one single strong energy alone, for only 3 energy. Yeah. That to me is pretty insane. This might see a lot of play, honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, you could also poison it with Ariados too if you'd like. And then, bam. 160 damage instantly. And that's without a muscle band or without a strong energy or if you're not playing a fighting stadium. That is some pretty insane damage, if you ask me, for only 3 energy too. Pretty cool. Okay, Quagsire. Chances are you're not going to be playing this Pokemon often, but if you really wanted to, I guess you could put strong energies and muscle bands. Of course, you have to use a water energy for this card, though, so probably not worth the trade-off, really. It is a cool attack, though. Not the best, but it is decent. Regirock. Rock Throw, 40 damage. Unyielding Rock, 60 damage, and if your opponent is an EX, it's 60 additional damage. So, 120 damage, plus let's say Muscle Band, Strong Energy, Fighting Stadium. That's like 180 damage, so pretty cool, in my opinion. I mean, even then, if it's not an EX, it's still doing about 100 damage at maximum. Well, not maximum, because, yeah, I would say it's maximum with just one Strong Energy and a Muscle Band. So yeah, 40 additional damage, or if you have like another Strong Energy, quite a lot of damage, I guess. But really, it's meant to be somewhat of an anti-EX card, so if you really wanted, you could take this card in your deck if you're playing, I guess, fighting. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Golurk, dig out, discard the top card of your deck. If that card is a fighting energy, attach it to this Pokemon. Probably not worth it. So it's another one of those discard the top of your decks, and if it's a basic energy, or this specific basic energy, then attach it to this Pokemon. For 20 damage, you're discarding a card, which most likely is not going to be a basic energy anyway. So, if you want to go with that, with the trade-off for that, by all means go for it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Double Lariato. Double Lariato. I'm just kidding, sorry. 90 damage. Flip 2 coins. For every heads, you get 90 damage. So, it's a maximum potential of 180 damage. Of course, you do have to flip 2 coins, though. If you're going to play this, I suggest playing, obviously, Trick Coin. Trick Coin all the way, for sure, because 180 damage alone by itself is pretty insane. You just attach one strong energy and then, I guess, double colorless and a basic energy or something. This might see some play, but who knows? Grass Pokemon would be quite prevalent, so this might be much weaker to those. But you can also combine this with Flareon and Eevee, or not Eevee, Flareon, Vaporeon, and Jolteon, so there will be multiple typings. Though I really am a little confused, though, because you can combine fighting with electric. And there are a lot of Pokemon with both electric weakness and fighting resistance. So I'm pretty sure it's just going to apply the resistance first and then weakness. So if this, let's say hypothetically, you do 180 damage, since you're getting the electric but you're getting the fighting resistance, it's going to be minus 20 for 180. So it'll be 160 and then multiplied by 2 to like 320 or something. Hypothetically, I guess. I really do not know whether the resistance is going to be applied after or before. Because I know in the old times of Pokemon, there was some cards that would activate damage resistance after the damage application. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to apply it before though. So we'll just have to see. Tyranitar EX. Hammer in 60 damage. Nothing special about that. 130 damage and does 10 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. So yeah, Nothing really crazy here, honestly. It's not the best Pokemon. Definitely not the go-to Pokemon. But of course, the main reason why people will be playing Tyranitar EX is because of Mega Tyranitar EX. People have already been speculating like crazy like damage combos with this, and quite frankly, I think I want to make this deck the most out of Ancient Origins. Not only because of its double ancient trait, but because of the Destroyer King attack. This attack does 60 more damage plus 110, of course, for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So yeah, you can see the damage potential for that. If you're playing like, let's say, Mega Tyranitar Bats, if you get a Gold Bat out onto your opponent's active Pokemon, that is 20 damage counters plus, well, it's multiplied by 60 for each damage counter, so it's 120 plus 110. That is 230 damage plus the already 20 damage counters on it with the Gold Bat. That's 250 damage. That alone would destroy a Wailord in a single hit. That is insane. Like, oh my god, I don't even. That is just, that can take out basically every Mega there is in the game. Yeah, if not all of them, basically. I don't think any Mega has ever gone over 240 HP. And of course, already trumping Wailord, this thing's gonna be one-shotting everything. So that's pretty crazy. And not many things resist it, aside from Mega Gardevoir. But even then, like I just said, the 20 damage counter's already onto it. That'll be 230 damage. So that's gonna one-shot a Mega Gardevoir even then. Unless they for some odd reason attach like a hard charm or something, without, evolving with their Spirit Link. But yeah, I can see the potential in this. This is gonna be pretty crazy. Of course, it does require 4 energy, but I mean, if you wanted to run also the dangerous energy in this too, if your Pokemon your opponent's Pokemon attacks you, you're dealing 20 damage. So it's essentially just a Rocky Helmet in the form of an energy. That is pretty cool, in my opinion. Pretty cool, actually. Really cool. Then we have Sableye. Choose a support card from your opponent's discard pile and use it as the effect of this attack. So if you really wanted to, you can. Oh man, this could be pretty trolly. You can basically use a Juniper from their discard pile. If they have like a hand of like 20 or something, then yeah, they're going to be discarding all of it to draw 7. If your opponent is really close to decking out, this would actually be a really good card to use. Yeah, it's actually pretty disruptive and very, very trolly, but I like this. I like this a lot. Also, if you wanted to force your opponent to use like a Lysander, I guess, and if you didn't feel like switching out, you could just Lysander your own Pokemon out, I guess. That is pretty cool, in my opinion. And the furtive drop, put 3 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon. Nothing special there. I just think it's the first attack that people are going to be seeing. Now, Malamar. Entangling Control, switch one of your Pokemon's bench Pokemon for the active. So this is like a Lysander effect, actually, since you actually get to choose which Pokemon is going up into the active. And the active is also now confused, so pretty cool if you have like a Pokemon that has a really high retreat cost, and yeah, it's just very difficult for it to get out of the active position. That's pretty cool in my opinion. Or let's say it's a Pokemon they've been charging for the longest time too. You just use this, and if they have all their energies onto them with a really high retreat cost, it's going to confuse them, so they either have to, I guess, go for Pokemon Center Lady or switch out, or try to attack through the confusion, of course. But the main reason I like this card is because of Trash Tentacle. 30 damage. Put a card from your discard pile into your hand. That's any card you would like, basically. So you can put an energy back into your hand. You can put a Pokemon. You can put a supporter, any trainer card in general, energy, anything. In my opinion, that is pretty cool. You play this in combination with the Flareon, Jolteon, or any of these. With the Muscle Band, you could be doing like 100 damage if they are weak to it. If you really wanted to, and then essentially you'll really never deck out unless they knock it out, of course. That is pretty cool, in my opinion. I like this card. And then we have 2 Metagross, this one. This one probably is going to be seeing more play, but Magnetic Warp. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may switch one of your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, your opponent switches his or her active Pokemon with his or her bench Pokemon. So it's basically an escape rope effect. If you have a Pokemon that has free retreat cost, that's essentially a Keldeo. because, well, except for the fact that your opponent switches too, but you can switch your active to, let's say, a Pokemon with free retreat cost. Let's say like a Dunsparce, because some of them have free retreat. You can go out into that Dunsparce and then use your Bronzongs to put the energies onto your onto your bench Pokemon that was just on your active, and then you can free retreat with that one Dunsparce. Unless they reprint Floatstone, in which case you don't really have to use a Dunsparce. I do think they might be coming up with a reprint for Floatstone, but I'm not too sure on that. None of us can really give a say on that, really. So yeah, that's gonna be the play anyways. If you have any basics or any other basics that have, or it doesn't have to really be basic. It could be a Pokemon with free retreat. Then you can just do that strategy, and then from there it's essentially a Keldeo. Just your opponent switches their own Pokemon too. That's pretty cool in my opinion. That's really cool. Anyway, Iron Cannon, 80 damage, and you may discard all metal energy attached to this Pokemon. If you do, that's 80 more damage. So you see, it says all metal energy. That doesn't mean if you have a double colorless, you have to discard that as well. But if you do have a double colorless, that's only discarding 2 metal energy for 80 more damage on top of 80 damage. That's 160 damage. If you have a Muscle Band, that's 180. That is insane damage, and basically for only 2 energy cost. It's actually 10 points stronger than the Dialga's attack. So yeah, but you don't have to discard it. It does say you may, so you have the option of discarding your metal energies. In my opinion, it is really cool. But it is a stage 2, of course. The difficulties it's going to take, or just to get this thing out on the field, yeah. On top of the Bronzongs, if you're going to be playing Bronzong. That's going to be a lot of additional cards you're going to have to put in your deck if you want to play this. And then we have the Ancient Trait Double Metagross. Pretty cool. 2 dual cards. You get Machine Gun Stomp, 20 plus damage, and this does 10 damage for each damage for each card in your hand. So, if you have a really big hand, then yeah, you're doing a lot of damage for only 2 double colorless, or 2 colorless, I mean, which is essentially double colorless, yeah. So the cool thing is you can put a double colorless and then you can charge it with metal energy later if you so please. And then you can use Guard Press, which is, I think, yeah, Guard Press has always been the same for metal Pokemon, so it's always a certain amount of damage and then you can resist 20 or a certain amount of damage for whatever Guard Press resists by. So that's a pretty cool attack in my opinion. And then we have Registeel. Iron Head. Flip a coin until you get tails. This Pokemon does 30 damage, or 30 times the damage number of heads. These attacks are never really consistent. They're always inconsistent. So yeah, use that one with caution, I guess. Forbidden Iron Hammer. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX, discard an energy attached to that Pokemon. So that is a consistent energy removal onto an EX. That's pretty cool in my opinion. It is 70 damage, of course, for 3 energies, but in my opinion, I guess that's somewhat worth the trade-off if your opponent runs a heavy amount of EXs, in my opinion. And then you have Gardevoir, Bright Heal. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon. So this isn't specifically for a certain typing like Fairy. This is all of your Pokemon. You can heal 20 damage from every single one of them. That's pretty cool if you run Pokemon that I guess rely on healing. Nothing much more to say about that though, but yeah. If you also have those Pokemon with the Ancient Trait to double the amount they get healed by, that would be 40 damage you can heal from them. Pretty cool in my opinion, but this Pokemon probably won't see much play. I really do like Gardevoir too, but it's just nothing too special there. I suppose if it was more damage, who knows? I guess if you had ways to spread around your damage counters to your Pokemon, if there was a card that could do that, that'd be a lot more useful, but unfortunately for now, this probably won't be seeing much play. Even the Telekinesis deck is pretty lackluster. This does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. And of course, it isn't affected for a weakness in benched Pokemon, or weakness or resistance on benched Pokemon. Nothing too crazy there, honestly. And then you have Whimsicott. Windy Mischief. Move all damage counters from one of your benched Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. So that is pretty cool. Actually, this in combination with a Dusknoir might be interesting, actually. Because Dusknoir from Flash Fire isn't going to be rotated out. So you can basically transfer over all of your damage counters from any of your Pokemon, and then put them onto your opponent's Pokemon. I think, yeah, your opponent's active Pokemon. So yeah, if you have a pretty big hitter, a pretty big tank or something that just takes a lot of damage frequently, then you can basically just switch out into this Whimsicott, use this attack, after you use the abilities for Dusknoir, of course, when moving all the damage counters onto it, and use Whimsicott's attack. To me, that's pretty cool. I think, Mega Heracross maybe might be pretty good with this. That is a lot of setups though, but I mean, if you can get this out, that'd be pretty cool, honestly. And of course, Rolling Tackle, 30 damage. Nothing really interesting there. Giratina. Now this is a card a lot of people want to play. This Pokemon in particular, in combination with Vileplume, might be pretty dangerous or just scary in general. But not only for its attack, but because of its ability as well. Its ability allows it to be basically resistant to all Mega Evolution Pokemon. So yeah, if you have no way of knocking out this Pokemon's ability, let's say Hexmaniac in this set, then you're not going to be affecting this with any of your Mega Pokemon, no matter how much damage you're doing. Then we see Chaos Wheel, 100 damage, Grass Energy, Psychic Energy, double colorless. Your opponent can't play any Pokemon Tool cards, Special Energy, or Stadium cards from his or her hand during your opponent's next turn. So it's essentially a lock, but only for Tool cards, Special Energies, and Stadium cards. So it's in a sense similar to Seismitoad in that you can't really stop this effect either, unless you, I guess, discard the energies. So yeah. But yeah, in combination with Vileplume, it'll prevent your Pokemon from using Enhanced Hammers. And since Cobalion's not going to be in the next rotation, chances of knocking off this Pokemon's special energy is going to be pretty difficult. It's going to be very low. It's just, I mean, you may as well just give up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure there are ways around it, but yeah, for now, this Giratina might be an issue. Who knows? But yeah, pretty crazy attack, pretty crazy effect. And I can't really see its HP, but I'm assuming it says 170. It looks like a 7. So yeah, 170 HP. Basic amount of HP for a Mega, but pretty crazy in my opinion. Then we have Goodra, Liquid Blow. This attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each. For each retreat cost in its. Yeah, each colorless and its retreat cost. Sorry, I couldn't get that one out. But yeah, so I think this attacks any of your Pokemon, so you can attach your bench Pokemon and for weakness and everything. If they have really high retreat cost, that's doing quite a bit. Yeah, so if they have 3 retreat costs, they'll be doing 60 damage to this for only double colorless. That's pretty cool. If you're running like this in combination with, what's it called? I guess that one Stadium plus the Jellicents that increase the retreat cost of your opponent's Pokemon. This might be quite useful, actually, for only double colorless too, so who knows? Not only can it attack the bench Pokemon, but I mean active as well, so that is pretty cool in my opinion. I like this, actually. Shining Breath, 110. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon can't be affected by any special conditions. So yeah, that's pretty cool in itself. Just can't be affected by special conditions. I like that. Then we have Persian. Nothing too crazy here. 40 damage, fake out for let's take a fake out first, I guess. 30 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed, nothing special there. Ambush, 40 damage, and of course if you flip the coins and get heads, you do 30 additional damage, that's 70 damage. I guess we were in like a Muscle Band, and the Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon somewhat. If you have special effective damage against the other Pokemon, then yeah, that could be a one-hit KO on even like the basic Pokemon, basic EXs. That's pretty cool, if you learn how to play this correctly, I guess. But aside from that, nothing crazy about it. Chances are, you're probably not going to be playing any combos of that, anyway. Then we have Porygon Z, Cyber Crush, discard all special cards attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon. That is actually pretty crazy. You know, since Cobalion's going to be knocked out of the meta or rotation in general, this might be a cool replacement. But I mean, it is a stage 2 though, so if you're only going to be playing that just for this effect, it's probably might not be worth it though, honestly. It's just too much of a difficult time to get this thing out. Then we have Slowing Beam, 70 damage. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's retreat cost one more. So, I mean attack cost. What am I saying? Retreat cost. Yeah, your opponent's attack cost is one colorless more. I don't know what happened when I talked about that. Okay, the other Porygon Z, the Stop Ancient Trait Porygon Z, Digital Reboot. Evolve as many of your bench Pokemon as many times as you like. Put each evolution card removed this way into your hand. I can't really see the usefulness of this, but maybe with certain cards this could be quite useful, but can't really see this being played often. I really can't think of anything, but maybe one day I'll see some potential in it and find some other cards I can combine this with. I might make a deck, who knows. Dazzle Blast, 50 damage, your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Nothing crazy there, honestly. Then we have Lugia, which is going to be the new Mewtwo, except you can't really deal super effective damage on anything since it is colorless. So yeah, 20 damage times the amount of energy on both active Pokemon. So this Pokemon plus your opponent's Pokemon. As you already know, this attack does a lot of damage if your opponent has a lot of energy, or if you put a lot of energy on this. That's pretty cool. Deep Hurricane, 80 plus damage. If there's a stadium in play, this attack does 70 more damage. Then discard the stadium. So that is not an optional effect. You have to discard the stadium. That means you have to play a stadium down and then use the attack. But that is 150 damage plus the Muscle Band, which chances are you're going to be playing Muscle Band with this anyway. So that's 170 damage. That is pretty insane. Honestly, that's a pretty big hitter for a regular EX, as you would assume, though, with Aero Ball and such. And then we have the trainers, or yeah, the trainer cards. Each player shuffles his or her hand into his deck, then draws 6 cards. Your opponent draws 3 cards. But yeah, you can only play this card if you have more prize cards left in your opponent, so that is the only downside to this. It is pretty cool, though, if you're in a pickle, I guess, if you're losing. Then yeah, this might see some play, but I can't really say this will completely replace N because of its consistency factor. So yeah, you can expect to see at least one of these in everyone's deck, if not 2. But yeah, nothing really much to say about that. It is not going to replace N, I just know that for sure. Ampharos Spirit Link, Eco Arm. This card allows you to put 3 of your tool cards from your discard pile into your deck. So, this could be very useful for like Spirit Links if you've already used them up, or I guess Hard Charms in this one, for this example. And of course, like Muscle Bands or any other stuff that you want to use. That's pretty cool in my opinion. Okay. And then we have Energy Recycler. Shuffle 5 basic energy from your discard pile into your deck. I can see this being very helpful with fairy Pokemon, because you can, if you ever run out of energies or have all your energies in your discard pile and have some in use, put these back into your deck, and then of course use Xerneas attack to put them back onto your Pokemon. But of course this can be used with any deck. I just can see it benefiting fairy decks more so than anything else. That's pretty cool. Faded Town. At any time between turns, put 2 damage counters on each Mega Evolution Pokemon. So, yeah, if you're playing a heavy Mega deck, and let's say your opponent just feels like running this because they just dislike Mega Evolutions and they don't run them themselves, this could be very, very dangerous. Dealing 20 damage every turn, at any time between turns. That's your turn and your opponent's turn as well. So yeah, that can rack up pretty crazily, and this also affects bench Pokemon. So it's essentially poison that affects your bench Pokemon, and it's twice the amount of damage. That is pretty insane. The only way you can get rid of this, obviously, if you just replace the stadium. But if your opponent plays this with like Giratina or something, and they cancel out your ability to use stadiums, that can be very, very dangerous. Just dangerous in general. Chances are you probably shouldn't be playing a Mega Evolution though. If you see this thing at this stadium out, if your opponent happens to get one afterwards, then yeah, good luck. Okay, now this stadium is pretty awesome in my opinion. Forest of Giant Plants. Each player's grass Pokemon can evolve during his or her first turn, or the turn he/she plays those Pokemon. So yeah, That is pretty cool. Basically, you just go crazy with all your grass evolutions. If you really wanted to, you can evolve your Venusaur to Mega Venusaur that seeing turn 2, which to me is more beneficial sometimes than having a Spirit Link. Because even if you do play it first turn, and if you have the corresponding Mega in your hand, that to me is more helpful, especially since you can attach an energy, tool card to it as well, so that's pretty cool in my opinion. I think Mega Heracross might see a little more play with this too, thankfully, because I love Mega Heracross. Mega Heracross is cool. And then we have Hex Maniac, one of my favorite cards in this set too. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, each Pokemon's in play, hand, and discard pile has no abilities. This includes cards that come into play on that turn. So yeah, somewhat anti-meta, basically anti-meta. I love anti-meta. This is one of my favorite cards, though. Not only because I like the Hex Maniac, but just because of its ability as well. It's just really cool. I'm really sad we didn't get a full art of this. Japan did, though. Dang you, Japan! But yeah. So it's a little too late to complain at this point. But yeah, I love this card. Really good. Level Ball, which has been reprinted into the set. So that means all the level balls before this can be used as well. So yeah, level balls come back. And basically what this card does is it lets you search out any Pokemon with 90 HP or less. So yeah, you reveal it of course, and of course put it into your hand. This is pretty cool. Especially since it can be combined with like Vespiquen and other Stage 1 Pokemon. It is pretty insane. Lysander is being reprinted too. That means for the next rotation next year, Lysander won't be rotating out. So yeah, sorry to all the people that really hate Lysander, because that means this card's staying in the meta for at least one more year from next year after that. So it's 2 years after this point, really. Lysander probably won't be going out of the meta anytime soon, though, really. I'm quite glad for that, though. I like playing Lysander. Paint Roller. Discard any stadium card in play, then draw a card. So if your opponent has one of their stadiums out and you don't have your own stadium out, then yeah, you could play this. Well, even if you do have a stadium in your hand, you could play this just to get the opponent's stadium out, and then draw a card, and then play your own stadium. So yeah, I can see benefits in this if you run out of stadiums as well, actually, and you don't want your opponent playing any stadiums. That could actually be pretty pivotal too, actually, late game for Dragon types, because if your opponent relies heavily on stadium switching with their Hydreigon EXs, then yeah, this can essentially stop it if both players are already out of their stadiums. That's pretty cool, in my opinion. Now we have Spirit Links for both Sceptile and Tyranitar. Nothing special there. I mean, you guys already know what that does. Then we have Dangerous Energy, which is, like I explained before, it is a Rocky Helmet in the form of Dark Energies, but of course can only be attached to Dark Pokemon. Pretty cool. Now we have Flash Energies, which is essentially weakness policy for Electric Pokemon. So no weaknesses. That is awesome, in my opinion, too. And of course we have the full arts. If you guys want to see the full arts, here they are. Full arts. We got full art Steven. I'm so disappointed. Then we have Primal Kyogre, the new Primal Kyogre with a secret rare, the secret rare coloration to it. All of these are now shiny, or at least they're shiny counterparts in like the games and such. Just like black with, I guess, the yellow lining that it has. It's pretty cool. Plus the secret rare, and it has the new, I think it's new, ancient trait that heals this Pokemon for all of the HP when you Primal Evolve, or Mega Evolve in this case. Primal Evolve in this case, I guess. So yeah, you won't have the Growth Ancient Trait anymore, and you won't have the Barrier Ancient Trait anymore, and you won't have the, or I guess the Evolution Ancient Trait. That's the big downside to these, but I mean, at least they look beautiful, right? That's all that counts to me, I guess. I'm not sure whether I'm going to play them or not, though, but who knows. Then we have Secret Rare Energy Retrieval. Looks very nice. And then we have Secret Rare Trainer's Mail. Also looks very nice. But yeah, thank you guys for watching my review on Ancient Origins. Set comes out in about 3 days from the point I'm probably going to upload this video, so yeah. Hope you all enjoyed this, and I will probably see you guys tomorrow. I didn't stream today, but yeah. I will probably see you guys tomorrow, though, for sure. So, goodbye, guys.